So I want to have a discussion about right now. Is it the worst time to be investing into Pokemon? I want to give my thoughts, kind of what I'm doing, and kind of, I guess, how I'm perceiving this thing that's going on right now in the whole world, which I'm not going to get too much into. Like, this is not an economics channel, this is not like a political channel, but people are talking about tariffs. This is the end. How's Pokemon going to be affected? A lot of people are making these types of videos. As you can see, or especially just in general, I feel like some people are scared that with the whole thing going on in the world and maybe some things in Pokemon, people feel like things are falling off. Some people are selling their stuff now. I have recently sold like large amounts of sealed product in the past like few months, but that has nothing to do with the things going around the world or my belief that Pokemon's falling off. It has nothing to do with that. But I have sold some stuff. But there's a lot of videos out there. If you go and just search up Pokemon investing, you can see. I'm not going to get into specific videos, but there are like a good amount of videos that people will talk about right now that just they're selling, they're getting out or whatever. Just wanted to just do an overview here. There might be some videos here that show up that you can see what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, just tariffs right now. A lot of people are talking about how they're going to affect Pokemon, all these sorts of things. To be honest, for me, I know people like to make correlations with the stock market and all these other things. I feel like there may be some, I guess correlations between the two, possibly, but I feel like it's not as strong as some people make it seem. Tariffs, I guess the only thing I could see with people, I guess saying things about is maybe Japanese products, because other than that, guys, if you look on, any product, everything in the United States that I'm aware of is printed in the United States. Like it literally says it on the bottom of the booster box. It says it on the cases, I believe, of like products. So it depends also where I guess they're getting the materials from and other components. All this stuff, it's very possible maybe Pokemon will be affected. Who knows? But I feel like it's not as strong as some people make it seem. Some people, honestly, if you're selling, I guess all your sealed product or whatever because of tariffs, I feel like that is a little bit being a little bit overreactive. But I do understand some people with the economic downturn it seems like we're facing right now, selling some stuff off. Especially, there are some talks about during the summer, sales start to slow down. I completely understand. And honestly, I feel like it's kind of smart. If right now you are somewhat over invested into Pokemon because we're still in this boom, like I don't think the market's super, like it's cooled off completely or anything. But, I do understand right now people that wanted to sell some stuff and maybe have invested a lot because of this whole boom thing started a few months ago, and maybe they're scared with the economy right now. If you are selling some off, like I said, I wouldn't, honestly, I think it's a smart idea, especially if you invested too much. Maybe you're super bullish and then all of a sudden this stuff is happening in the world. It makes sense to do it, okay? But I wouldn't go out and just sell everything thinking that the whole market's going to crash and all these sorts of things, because honestly, I feel like that would be pretty extreme. And I still believe this market is very strong. But it does bring up the point with other stuff too. Is it really the worst time to, invest in anything? Because you take into account, these tariffs, the economy, we're maybe going to summer and people, sales slow down. I guess that's a thing. And also the prices of everything is extremely high. Right now for me, when I look at all my purchases and stuff, it was really done about a month or two ago when I made a lot of, big purchases, spending a lot of money, and all of that was on Prismatic. Because other than that, I really have not bought much. I mean, I guess I bought Journey Together, like the pre-orders of the booster boxes, Surging Sparks, but other than that, like everything is so expensive. I'm not buying any of these. If you're asking, Vapor Self, are you investing? What are you buying right now? I really haven't bought really anything recently. Like I bought some of the new stuff. Like I bought some Journey Together ETBs because I was able to get them for under 70. Still, it's not like the best thing ever, I would say, because it seems like Journey Together, as of right now, I don't know how long it's going to take to go up, because it seems like, Journey Together in terms of, prices and stuff for cards that keep falling. I don't know how long it's going to take for Sealed to go up, because this is kind of an anomaly with Journey Together here, because with Surging and Prismatic, right? Prismatic did drop, but it didn't drop too much. But Surging, for example, was the main set. Surging, actually, the prices went up after release. Like, I know people say, oh, prices of cards, usually they drop on release. That's normal. Well, Surging, I'm pretty sure the prices went up. Like, the Pikachu came out like $300, then it went up to like 600, and then dropped to like 500, now it's like 400. So, Surging, it kept going up, but it didn't start off being as expensive as Journey Together, which I guess is partially why we're seeing some, I guess, decent drop offs with Journey Together. Obviously, the other factors too, with the small amount of cards in the set, the pull rates seemingly are easier. I guess that's the other component. So this is a little bit of an interesting situation that we really haven't seen with recent sets, where I guess prices of cards have drastically dropped, and sealed prices. Honestly, sealed hasn't dropped much, but it seems kind of like right now sealed for Journey Together. I don't see it skyrocketing anytime soon. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, because I know people are having fun opening the set up, but it's not like surging or prismatic where when it slightly dropped or whatever, like it seemed like it was pretty obvious that it was going to go up and buying it would be a good idea. Because at least for right now with Journey, it's a little bit of a hard buy at this price point, because it is pretty expensive, and you consider, I guess, the cards in the set, they are going down in value. It's kind of hard to justify buying this right now. So Journey Together, like I said, it's really like, it's kind of weird with Journey Together. It's really hard to give an opinion on how I think this set will do in the near future, just because of, obviously everything going on in the world. But just, I don't know, we haven't really seen this with a set that's been released in this whole hype thing where cards have gone down this much. But sealed prices really haven't really dropped drastically. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this set. But just moving onwards, like all these sets, there's nothing to buy. Like seriously, we have these reprint news as well, like coming here with Prismatic. Recently, we also had those other products that were getting reprinted. The Paldea Evolved booster boxes, Obsidian Flames, Surging Sparks, Twilight, and that reprint. With all those reprints, that seemingly it seems like Pokemon maybe is doing something about the supply issue. Buying any of these at this point does not seem like a good idea, to be honest. Surging, obviously, reprint. Like I said, I don't really know if it's hit or not. But prices are still at 250. Stellar Crown is at 205. This is definitely probably one of the worst buys in my opinion, because it's really new and it's 205. And Stellar Crown, how much has gone up recently is crazy. Twilight 210, Temporal 200. All these that used to be so cheap, it's really hard to buy any of these, and that's why it's like now I feel like in terms of investing, it's like the worst time, because everything is so expensive, and it's really hard to try to make decisions if you want to invest right now what to buy. I know some people, like I just brought these up on 151, I know some people are going back to 151 because seemingly 151 might not get printed again. I know some people have talked about it. We did recently get some booster bundle reprints here, so maybe this, I don't know if they're going to reprint anymore, because it seems, I think they've done like 2 at this point. I don't really know, but if you can get these maybe around $60 or under, this would probably be a decent buy. ETBs, I don't know if they're going to get reprinted. They're reprinting seemingly Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. So is it possible they go back and reprint 151? It seems kind of low, but if they're really reprinting ETBs and they've recently reprinted the 151 booster bundles, it's possible. So I just want to make this video to just like generally talk about right now how it's kind of the worst time to invest. I know people are mad about scalpers and pretty much calling investors scalpers now, but honestly I feel like it's bad for everyone. Unless you're buying this product at stores, at retail, and you're able to flip your money, this time is great, right? But I think some people have this idea that this market is good for people like investors that only care about money and stuff. But when you really think about it, if you're actually like an investor, right, why would you want to buy at these prices? Like honestly, for me, I've talked about it before. I've bought, some products that I believed in this market, right? Like Prismatic. Even though they were expensive, I saw the highest, a chance of it, growing a lot more than these other products at their price points. Because in my opinion, like buying like Prismatic when it dipped was a much better idea than buying, let's say, I don't know, like Obsidian Flames or like Paradox at maybe like 180, Temporal 180, like I saw bigger upsides buying Prismatic because of the volatility of this market. Because other than that, for me, it's really hard to buy some of these boxes at $200. It just doesn't seem that great, and I really feel like right now, I don't know, it's just bad to invest. And that's why my strategy, like I said, has kind of changed. A lot of my stuff I bought recently in the past few months have been more short-term stuff, because those are the products that I see that actually have the potential to grow pretty decently in this market. Because other than that, these booster boxes that are $200, I honestly don't see them going crazy next few months. And it's just really hard to buy anything. It's really hard to say, you should be buying this, you should be buying that. Obviously, you can go back to Sword and Shield and all that stuff, but everyone knows that, right? And Sword and Shield, the market is super just. It's not the market's not hot for Sword and Shield right now. It's a good time to buy, I guess, in that respect. But you're not going to see, in my opinion, really any gains anytime soon, especially when you consider, the summer's coming up, or whatever, and sales start to slow down. Sword and Shield, it's not that hot. Probably going to see the most downturn, if anything. And just, everything in Scarlet and Violet is too expensive. For me, honestly, on all the, the stuff I've sold recently, I've been just sitting on the cash. The cash is waiting for Destined Rivals if I can find any pre-orders. But other than that, if you're asking me, what are you buying? I'm not buying anything. I haven't bought anything really other than, the few Journey Together ETBs, and that's it, because it's really hard to buy this stuff. I'm kind of waiting for the next turn in the market when prices start to go down. I'm actually really looking forward to in about a year from now when this market goes down, because when this market goes down, by then, hopefully, I would have, secured some of my profits with some of these other sets that I'm pretty heavily invested into, and I'll be able to buy booster boxes once again for $90. And, honestly, that even seems like a dream, me even saying that. But I feel like there will be a time in this market, or sometime in the future, in the next couple of years, where booster boxes will go back down to like around $100. I feel like it will happen. And during that time, I'm going to be buying a good amount of that stuff. And if this channel is still alive in a few years from now, we'll see if I hold true to what I'm saying here, where I'll invest pretty heavily in those booster boxes. Because now looking at Scarlet and Violet, and how, I guess, in the beginning, I saw Scarlet and Violet in the wrong light, like a lot of people did. But things started to turn around in the second half. But by then, it was kind of too late. A lot of boxes got kind of expensive. But whatever comes next, right, and this market sees a downturn, learning from Scarlet and Violet, obviously things could, history doesn't always repeat itself. But if I'm able to buy boxes at $100, pretty much whatever it is, Scarlet and Violet just kind of goes to show that it's a no-brainer if you can get it at that price. So, just want to make this video to talk about just how right now investing is really hard, and just there's nothing good to buy, and I'm not really buying anything. The only things I've bought, like I said, in the past few months are like the high-flying stuff that I see the most upturns, the most volatility, where I feel like there's a lot more upside than some of these other products, because at the prices that a lot of these are at, I don't see them going up a bunch in the next few months, honestly, just in my opinion. And I'd rather just save my money for like trying to get the new stuff. But yeah, that's just me. Those are my thoughts about the market. It's kind of rough out here. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys have been buying, because there's really not much to buy in this market other than just Sword and Shield and back. So yeah, those are my opinions about the market and just how it's rough. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.